All right. So today we're going to be reviewing the Sigma 105 2.8 macro lens. So a few weeks ago, I hit up Sigma because I had done the review of the 16-28 versus the 14-24. I'll link that down below if you guys want to check it out. They liked the video and we got on the phone and discussed if they would send over a few lenses for us to try out. There were two lenses that I really had it was really one lens that I had my eye on. It was this one. It was the macro lens. I also tried out the Sigma 105 1.4 and that video should be up already, so I'll link that down below as well. But the Sigma 105 macro is the one that I really wanted to try out because for the longest time I was shooting with Nikon cameras, Nikon gear ever since 2006. So when I made my switch over to mirrorless, there's no way in hell I was going to get a Nikon mirrorless because in my opinion, they just got left behind. So there was no reason for me to stay out of loyalty with a lesser camera system. So when I switched over to Sony, I still had my macro, the 105 Nikon, which I bought back in 2012. And it's still actually in great condition, like really good condition. If I haven't sold it yet, when I post this video, if you guys want to buy it, let me know because I'm not using it. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because I personally feel when you buy a macro lens, that's a lens that you're going to buy once and that's it. I mean, that was 2012 and now we're in 2023. 11 years of usage on that lens and it still looks pretty much brand new and acts brand new too. However, when you attach it with an adapter from Nikon to Sony, it really doesn't work as fluid as if it was a native lens. And that was the reason that I wanted to jump on this. So when thank you Jack, sent this over to try out, I was really excited. I really wanted to play around with a macro, something that I haven't done in the mirrorless arena. However, unfortunately, because right now it's a slower season with weddings, I didn't have as much of a chance to use it on a wedding day until very recently. And my goodness, was I pleasantly surprised. Even when I was using a macro lens with a dedicated system with Nikon on Nikon, it just wasn't that fast. And obviously that's not anything new. Mirrorless cameras are faster with autofocus than DSLRs. But I didn't realize how much I was missing until I played with this lens over the weekend. The quickness in autofocus was ridiculous. The sharpness on it, I mean, very impressive. So overall, like, I didn't play with it for quite a bit when they sent it over because I didn't have like weddings to shoot, so that's primarily what we use it for. And I did shoot some things around the house, like you'll see photos of the little Sharpay statue that I have. You'll see photos of the little S2000 that I took photos of on my desk, but I wanted to try it on a wedding day, and like I said, it was shockingly good. My assistant and my second shooter were watching me take photos of the rings, and even they were blown away with A, how quickly it autofocused, and B, how sharp, like it wasn't missing. It grabbed the diamond and it stayed on it, and I mean, that's something that I've never witnessed. Like with the Nikon, it just wasn't that fast. Even with like the D850, the D750, like all those cameras that I had, it never focused that quick to the point where I would put it on manual focus and manually get it because that was quicker than trying to fumble and try to get it. And I mean, this thing was just immediate. It was just boom, click, done. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, amazing. A couple of things. Let's go into a few technical things. Now, I'm not going to get super technical. So I don't like getting into super duper like nerdy facts, like how many elements this thing has and how round the bokeh is and all that. Like, listen, no client has ever come to us and said, hey, the photos were absolutely beautiful, but that mother effing bokeh was atrocious. It's never happened and I just don't see it happening. So because of that, I don't get super technical. I try to put myself in the shoes of our clients, our couples. And if they're happy, then we've done our jobs. So one thing that I did notice, a couple of things, is right here there's a little area that says click on or click off. So when you're changing the aperture on the lens itself, you can do it where it has little clicks and you can hear it, you can go slower and it makes you stop exactly where you want to. Or you can put click off and then that way you can it's a lot smoother. Now, I'm assuming that this is more for video. So if you want to change the depth of field or change the aperture as you're shooting, then it'll be nice and smooth. And if you're doing photo, then the clicky, that as you can hear, is going to be better. You'll also see full, and then obviously two other settings. So as far as how long the throw of focus is going to be, that's that. I mean, I guess you can change it. I've personally never fussed around too much. I left it on full, and honestly, it didn't have any issues with it taking long to focus or anything. Like I was saying, I was thoroughly impressed, and I just left it on full, which is probably testing it out the most. So yeah, no issues on that front. And then you have the manual and autofocus clicker right here. Simple. Put it on manual, put it on autofocus, so you can switch it around. All right, so very quick side note. I did notice that I forgot to mention the little tab on the side of the 105. This little rubber tab that's on the side is for if you're autofocusing on, let's say, a ring, for example, and then you want it to lock. Basically, it's like your AEL button on your camera where you would hold it up there. But instead of holding it up on your camera, you would now hold it on the lens, and that way your autofocus isn't trying to kick in. So you can lock your focus, hold that button, and now it's not gonna move, so you can just really hold it steady and get a few frames. I didn't really elaborate that much on the first take, so I just wanted to mention that. Back to the video. And then the last thing is right here, this little clicker on the side. That's so you can just put it on A, and then you control the aperture on your camera. So that way, you don't have to be clicking around or doing any of that. You switch it over here to A, and then just change the aperture on the camera instead of flipping around manually over here. So what I like about this lens is it gives you a lot of options. It gives you all these little clickers that you can customize exactly what you want this lens, how you want it to perform. For us, I mean, we keep it extremely simple. We just want to shoot very tight detail. Sometimes, for example, we have couples who have relatives that maybe have passed away. You know, if they want them to be there with them on the wedding day, so they'll put like a little pendant over here, like on the lapel, or they'll put a little pendant on the flowers or something like that. And for that, like, I want those photos to be as sharp as possible. I want them, like, I'm not a technical person, but I am a very, like, I try to be human with my clients, and I understand that those photos mean a lot to them. So that's when this really comes to play, is getting those real close-up details where you really want it to be sharp. And I mean, even just playing around, as you can see in these photos, like I was taking a quick macro shot of the interior of a toy car, and it was just nailing it, which was shocking how quick and how well it performed on that. There's not really too much else that I can say about this lens other than this is definitely going to be in my camera bag very soon. I have to send this one back because this is a tester, but I'm going to be ordering this one for sure. And I think a few of our team members are also going to be ordering it. So like I said, this is probably more on a little bit more expensive out of the third-party macro lenses. However, like I said, it's a lens that you're going to buy once and you're probably never going to have to buy again. I mean, you can take that from me. Like I said, I've had the macro lens for 11 years. And if I was still on that same system, I would still be using it. So if I'm spending just a little bit more to make sure I get a better version of a macro lens, in the long run, I think it's worth it. And for me, I like more of the 105 focal length for macro lenses than the lower ones, because I know that they make, I believe it's the 60, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even look, because to me the 105 is the one that makes sense. It's 90 or 105, those are solid focal lengths for macro lenses. Anything below that, I'm not really a big fan of. For me, this is going to be it. I'm going to be ordering it pretty soon. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any questions. If I missed anything, let me know, and I'll always answer comments. So if you guys have any questions at all, I'm always happy to respond. But for now, I think we'll leave it here. Thank you guys so much for watching.